Introduction to PHP loops. A loop is a programming construct that repeats a set of instructions until a certain condition is met. There are four main types of loops in PHP: for loops, while loops, do-while loops, and for each loops. Each type of loop has its own syntax and use cases. For loops in PHP allows execution of a set of instructions a certain number of times based on a condition. Initialization statement is executed once, condition is evaluated at each iteration, an increment statement is executed at the end of each iteration. Often used to iterate over arrays or perform a set number of iterations, can be inefficient if used improperly, while loops in PHP allows execution of instructions as long as a certain condition is true. Condition is evaluated at the beginning of each iteration, often used when the exact number of iterations is unknown. Must ensure the condition will eventually evaluate to false to avoid infinite loops. Do-while loops in PHP. Similar to while loops, but the code inside the loop is executed at least once, regardless of the condition. Condition is evaluated at the end of each iteration, often used when a set of instructions needs to be executed at least once. For each loops in PHP, allows iteration over each element in an array. Variable array represents the array to iterate over, and value represents the current element of the array. Often used when you need to perform a set of instructions on each element in an array. Using loops with arrays in PHP. Common mistakes include using the wrong condition in a for loop and not initializing the loop variable properly. To avoid common pitfalls, understand how each type of loop works with arrays. Breaking out of loops in PHP. In PHP, use the break keyword to exit a loop early. The continue keyword can be used to skip over the current iteration and move on to the next one. Optimizing your PHP code with loops. Avoid using unnecessary nested loops, which can slow down your code. Use the most appropriate type of loop for the task. Use break and continue statements judiciously. Use array functions instead of manually iterating over arrays with a loop. Advanced topics in PHP loops. PHP offers advanced topics such as nested loops and loop control structures like the goto statement. These advanced topics allow for more complex operations. Conclusion and next steps for mastering PHP loops. Loops are a powerful tool in PHP that allow repetition of a set of instructions. Understanding different types of loops, best practices for using them, and optimization tips can make your code efficient and performant. Consider exploring more advanced topics, taking an online course, or practicing your skills with real-world projects.